Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Diana Piquet and my channel is Pack Mom. This is my latest video. I've been thinking a lot about change and can we really change, or are we sort of just like predestined to be stuck in behaving the same way that we always have? Can we sustain change for a lifetime, or is it always just going to be something that's just a change we make for a little while and then we go back to our old ways? So I was talking to my husband about it last night and I was asking him what he thought about change, and what we both agreed to was that change really is, and lasting change is really possible if you're the type of person that really wants it and you're willing to work for it. But it's hard, especially depending on what you're wanting to change. If you're wanting to change your weight, if you want to stop smoking, a big lifelong long-term change like that, maybe it's something like you really hate the career you're in and you want to go in a different path, so that's going to be something that takes some time. But I think that if you're really willing to put in the work, you can change. I know I've changed and I've seen other people around me change. Now, on the flip side of that, I have people that have been in my life that were unable to change. And I think it just basically boils down to the fact that it's not something that they wanted to do. So you gotta want it, you gotta be willing to work for it, you gotta be willing to have staying power and stick to it. And then I think that change really is possible. That's actually really exciting. It's really exciting to me because I've really been wanting to make a positive change in my life and get my weight into a healthy range. Really, and like, I don't want to go to the doctor and have them say I'm in the obese category. I want to have a healthy body. And so can I really change? Can I really stop those choices that I keep making that keep adding up to where I don't want to be? There have been some mitigating factors, like I would get on like a really good roll and get divorced, have something happen with a child. Last time I got on a really good roll, I was putting it on video and then I became unexpectedly pregnant. So I think life has to be right, like some circumstances have to come together. Maybe you need the support of other people, maybe you need whatever's going on, like if you're dealing with a sick parent or something, maybe you need something to calm down first. But once you're in that space to make change, I think it is possible. So I started out by just observing and thinking, like, I really want to make a change. But I've tried before and I often find myself in the cereal bowl at 10 o'clock at night, or even worse, a big stack of like buttery pancakes with syrup. So those are the choices that keep leading me back to like bloating and gassy and kind of sick all night, and then I wake up and I'm not having the energy to work out. And so those choices keep adding up to being where I don't want to be. So I have to decide where I want to be. So I started observing my habits. What do I do? Okay, here I am, I'm eating pancakes again and it's 10 o'clock at night. They're really good, but it's not really good for me and it's not getting me to my goal. So I started thinking about these things when I was doing them and sort of observing myself sort of as an outside third party. I had to realize that I can't make a drastic change immediately. I can't like do like Weight Watchers, keto, intermittent fasting with a trainer as I run 24 hours a day and be a marathoner. Like, that's just, it's not realistic. And I have other things going on in my life, like 5 kids and a spouse and a household to run. And so that's not gonna work for the long term. So what I did was I took little things at a time. Like, I just started walking. So like a year ago, we started walking about 3 miles in the morning. That really helped stabilize weight gain and weight loss. It really wasn't enough without the diet being straight. It really wasn't enough to like see the scale start ticking down. I wasn't gaining, but I wasn't really losing either. Came up with a plan. The walking was working really well. The baby in the stroller, we avoided all the other kids who were getting ready for school anyway and kind of bypassed the whole morning hustle. And we had the rest of the day and didn't have to worry about it. Because sometimes when you wait until night, like I find that I'm either just exhausted or life just gets in the way. Dishes get in the way. My plan was the walking, and that was working. And I went to Weight Watchers for about a year and that was working. But I started getting to the end of my Weight Watchers journey, and my buddies who were doing it with me were kind of falling out and kind of bored. And I wasn't really feeling that inspired. I was having a hard time making it to the meetings because evening time is super busy with all these kids. And it just wasn't happening. I just wasn't inspired anymore. And that's okay. It really served me well for a time, but I was just kind of done with that. I started looking into other ways of cutting my caloric intake and hearing what other people were doing. And I started doing intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting, I can get into it in another video, but it's basically shortening your eating window. So some people will eat from like 12 till 8 p.m. You only eat during those hours and then you don't eat the rest of the day. And then you can slowly start to make that window a little bit smaller. That was my next thing, was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing intermittent fasting. And I started doing that, but I can't do all those things at the same time or else I just wouldn't be able to sustain it. So about 6 weeks ago now, I started working out with a trainer. That's just 2 days a week, but it's really hard and it really kicked my workouts up a notch and it made me start to feel really strong. Ooh, I have this body that works, and so it kind of woke me up a little bit. That sort of pole vaulted me into stretching at night and looking up yoga videos on YouTube to just kind of stretch with. So it's just been these incremental changes that have been a little bit at a time instead of trying to do everything at once. So change is really forming new habits, right? And how do we form new habits? We do something over and over and over again, like a practice. And then once you've done it enough, it just becomes a habit. And that's a great way to change. So I wasn't the kind of person that walked three miles every day a year ago, but we've been doing it. And honestly, we do it almost all the time now. We hardly ever miss a morning. And it's just become sort of a habit for us. So even if we have a week, like we did have a couple of weeks in the winter where it was just extremely rainy and I don't feel like going out in the rain with the baby and the dog and everything, so we just scrapped it and tried to do something else in the house. But even though we had that little dip, doesn't mean like we don't get right back at it. So that's the same thing with any other habit. If you have like a little dip in something that you've been practicing, just jump right back on the horse and keep going towards it. Do we have a capacity to change? I think hell yes, we have a capacity to change. We are intelligent humans, and if we don't want to smoke anymore because it's a habit that's not serving us and it's kind of gross and it grosses other people out and it's keeping us from getting on with our life goals, we don't have to do it anymore. And if we don't want to carry around extra weight, we don't have to do that. If we have a horrible temper that flares up, we can work on it. So that's a wonderful thing about being a human and not being like a fly. I mean, we actually have the capacity to use these gigantic brains that we have and live a better life. So I hope you enjoyed this video about change. I certainly enjoyed making it. I thought it was so interesting, and I'm going to keep researching what other people say about different ways to make change, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. So if you like this video, please subscribe. It's just the red button right below. While you're on YouTube, you hit subscribe, and what that does is every time I make a new video, it will give you an alert. It's totally free, and you can also give it a thumbs up. That sends it out to a lot more people, which would be super helpful to me. And I'd love to have you as a regular viewer and to connect with you, so please leave me some comments down below. Thanks and have a great day.